Imagine you've spent the last 6 hours of your day doing nothing but chewing. Your jaw is aching, your teeth are worn down, and you're exhausted, not from a workout, but from simply trying to digest your lunch. For every other primate on Earth, this is the reality. A chimpanzee spends about half its waking hours chewing raw fruit and meat just to get enough calories to survive. But you can finish a high-calorie meal in 10 minutes. We often think of cooking as a culinary art or a way to make food taste better. But the truth is much weirder and more vital. Without fire, your brain wouldn't be large enough to understand these words, and your body wouldn't even look human. Today, we're looking at the real reason we started cooking, and how a literal spark changed our DNA forever. Before the invention of the kitchen, you were a different kind of creature. Your ancestors, like Homo habilis, had massive jaws and huge digestive tracts. Raw food is incredibly difficult to process. It's packed with tough fibers and resilient proteins that the stomach struggles to break down. In the wild, raw equals work. If you were still eating like a great ape, you would need to eat roughly 5 kilos of raw produce every single day just to keep your lights on. This created a biological ceiling. You couldn't have a big brain and a big gut at the same time. They both require too much energy. In the UR history timeline, this was our greatest stalemate. We were stuck. So, how did we start? It likely wasn't a eureka moment. Picture this: a lightning strike hits a dry patch of African savanna. The brush catches fire and the local wildlife flees. After the embers cool, you, a curious, hungry hominid, walk through the charred remains. You find the carcass of a wild pig or a handful of tubers that were caught in the heat. Instead of the usual tough, bloody meal, this meat is soft. It's falling off the bone. More importantly, it smells incredible. This is the weird evolutionary bypass. We didn't learn to cook to make food safe. We learned because we stumbled upon the fact that heat does the digestion for you. By the time that roasted meat hit your ancestor's tongue, the fire had already broken down the proteins and denatured the toxins. You were essentially eating predigested energy. This is where the science gets wild. Once we started eating cooked food, our bodies underwent a radical transformation. Because cooked food is so much easier to digest, we didn't need those massive, energy-hungry guts anymore. Over generations, our digestive tracts shrunk. And because we were getting a massive calorie surplus for the first time in history, that energy had to go somewhere. It went straight to your head. The real reason we cook isn't for flavor. It was to fuel the most expensive organ in the known universe, the human brain. Cooking allowed our ancestors' brains to triple in size in a relatively short evolutionary window. We traded our stomach power for brain power. But cooking didn't just change our insides, it changed our behavior. When you eat raw, you eat on the go. You scavenge, you chew, you move, but you can't carry a fire around easily. You have to sit by it. The hearth became the first social media. For the first time, humans were forced to sit across from one another for hours, waiting for the food to be ready. This is where language likely accelerated. We had to communicate, to share stories, and to negotiate who got the best cuts of meat. As explored in our videos on why we are the only human species left, this social cohesion, forged around a fire, gave us the edge over every other species on the planet. Today, we take our stoves and microwaves for granted. We see cooking as a chore or a hobby. But in the grand arc of history, the fire in your kitchen is the only reason you are you. We are the only species on Earth that cannot survive on a raw diet in the wild for long. We have outsourced our digestion to the flame. Next time you smell dinner cooking, remember, that smell isn't just an appetite trigger. It's the scent of the revolution that turned a primate into a person.